Well, from wherever you're watching us in Kenya and around the world, this is KBC Prime Edition coming to you from Broadcasting House. Good evening. My name is Mboya with the news tonight, and it begins right now with our lead stories. Special guest. Interior CS Kithure Kindiki shares meal with officers on the front lines at the border of Baringo North and Tiaty sub-counties.
Kama ni hatua itachukuliwa, sio hatua ya kupigwa transfer, hatua ya mtu kuwekwa ndani kushtakiwa.
Bitter pill. Residents confront police at Kegonga station to demand answers over killing. Death on the roads. 6 deaths reported amidst call to motorists to be cautious when driving during the festive season.
Basi undio ujasiri tuna.
Song as an administrative tool. We tell you the story of the singing chief in Machakos. Lensa Odinga is our sign language interpreter. Our socials at KBC Channel 1. The government will spend at least 7 billion shillings every year to modernize equipment for security officers. This comes as the Ministry of Interior vows to upscale the fight against banditry, saying that they have managed to contain the menace at 70%, with now the focus shifting to parts of Samburu East, Samburu West, Isiolo County, as well as Turkana County. Sarafina Robi with that report.
Merry Christmas and welcome, sir.
Interior Cabinet Secretary Kindiki Kithure spent Boxing Day inspecting progress on the establishment of new security facilities and sharing Boxing Day meals with officers serving in the front line at Karangajoto at the border of Baringo North and Tiaty sub-counties in Baringo County. He further distributed Christmas season celebrations food items for Anti-Stock Theft Unit, Rapid Deployment Unit, camps in Ngaratuko, Kagir, and Loruk police stations, Yatia Police Post, and local National Police reservists. With the first consignment of modern equipment, which includes MRAPs, aerial surveillance kits that includes drones and personal protective gear, expected to arrive in the country in the next 7 to 10 days. Kindiki said the government will be spending at least 7 billion shillings to modernize equipment.
The government did approve a 5-year program of modernization of equipment, which is going to spend 37 billion shillings. Initially it was 20 billion, but the government, through President Ruto, decided to increase that amount, and therefore will be spending an average of 7 billion shillings every year to modernize your equipment.
This comes as the Interior Cabinet Secretary Kithure Kindiki takes stock of the year 2023, saying they covered at least 70% of the war against banditry.
As we close the year, I am happy to announce that we are almost there. And maybe by the time I make another trip here, you will have seen a lot of changes.
Sarafina Robi for Prime Edition.
Residents of Kegonga town in Migori County Tuesday had a standoff with officers at Kegonga police station that they are accusing of allegedly shooting dead a teacher at a pub within the town. Kuria East Police Boss Patrick Joroge, however, refuted claims that the incident was a case of an extrajudicial killing. Meanwhile, police in Siaya County are investigating an incident where oxygen cylinders worth over 270,000 shillings were stolen from the Siaya County Referral Hospital. Here's that report.
These were the scenes in Kegonga town. Angry residents, armed with stones and twigs, marooned the police officers at the local police station. The residents pelted the officers with stones. They also blocked all roads in Kegonga town.
Hata kama ni hatua itachukuliwa, sio hatua ya kupigwa transfer, hatua ya mtu kuwekwa ndani kushtakiwa.
Kuna officer mmoja amekuja hapa, amekuwa transferred kuja hapa. Ameanza kushika watu kwa mabaa, hata yangu aliingia. Anashika, anaenda wanapiga faini huko.
The only option available for the police was to fire live bullets and lob tear gas to safeguard the station. It took the intervention of Migori County Commissioner David Gitonga to calm the irate residents. Eyewitnesses say a group of police officers engaged in a bar brawl with residents on Christmas night, during which they allegedly shot dead the 33-year-old teacher Samuel Muturi.
Ama askari walikuwa wanakunywa huko juu kwa bar. Askari mmoja akapigwa na mtu. Na wanamjua ni nani mwenye alimpiga. Mbona wakakuja kutupiga sisi hao watu wengine raia?
But Kuria East Police Boss Patrick Njoroge refutes claims of what is being termed as an extrajudicial killing.
The initial report was that there were robbers who were robbing people along the road at near a bar called Vanna.
Elsewhere, police in Siaya County are investigating an incident where thugs broke into a store at the Siaya County Referral Hospital and stole 9 oxygen cylinders worth over 270,000 shillings. Siaya County Police Commander Cleti Kimayo says preliminary investigations indicate that the rear door of the store was broken into. The cylinders are stored in an area that is always under 24-hour guard. 2 guards are being detained at the Siaya police station to assist with investigations. Tilio Marco for Prime Edition.
Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua and his wife Pastor Dorcas Tuesday hosted hundreds of children for a Christmas party at their rural home in Madeira, in Nyeri County. Gachagua noted that such events offer a platform to mentor the young generation on the joy of sharing and fostering the community spirit.
It was a day to behold for the children who are being hosted at the Deputy President's rural home in Madeira, Nyeri County. From live music, dance, face painting, bouncing castles, quad bike rides, merry-go-round, the children could not hide their joy.
That is why I'm very happy that our police officers have spent time playing with you, taking care of you, dancing with you, dancing for you. That is a new Kenya. A Kenya where everybody loves one another, where our police officers love our children, take care of our children.
The second in command and his spouse reiterated the commitment of the government in securing the future of the Kenyan children.
Our Kenya is our young people. And that is why when we came to office, the president appointed the Presidential Working Party on educational reforms to reform CBC and other education programs to align them with what is good for our children. Again, young children, you know, our government has employed 56,000 teachers to make sure that the pupil-teacher ratio is improved.
And I want to wish Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to all Kenyans and to all Kenyans' children. And I want you to enjoy yourselves and make sure you are not messing around. But the message is Christ is born and you are going to be great children.
Elsewhere, Kiambu residents, among others, are set to receive donations from well-wishers courtesy of the Wanjamora Foundation. The foundation has launched a platform through which Kenyans of goodwill can send their support using an SSD code. She asked all well-wishers to subscribe, saying the support received will be used to help needy Kenyans.
Great and small, there is no small donation, we can call it. There is no small donation in Wanjamora Foundation. Every help and every donation, it goes a long way to make every case and every project a success.
Jacqueline Masharia for Prime Edition.
Nairobi Central Business District recorded minimum activities today compared to Monday yesterday. Most businesses remained closed, while those that opened reported low customer turnout. Numbers at Uhuru Park were low, unlike yesterday when families flocked the recreational facility to mark Christmas. Beatrice Gatonye filed this report.
Nairobi's Central Business District Tuesday. The usual busy streets were quieter, with many businesses closed. A sports check by Channel 1 showed only a handful of traffic. A section of Kenyans who did not travel up country for the festivities say the high cost of living has made it difficult for them to join their loved ones.
Sina pesa ya kusafiri. Nikiangalia 1 2 3 watoto hapa wana shule kesho. Next week. Ni wangu. Sasa mambo imekuwa ngumu kabisa.
Fuel is the cost of every problem. That's why I cannot be at home now. So I would urge our President, His Excellency William Samoei Ruto, to at least minimize everything.
Others noting that the travelling cost has been doubled and can only travel when the celebrations are over.
When times comes ambayo itakuwa ni during the off-peak season, that is from February now. That is the time now you can go home, do something as a father, or you go and do mama, wewe kimbia pale fanya kitao kidogo, you come back.
Hii fare imepanda price kwenye mimi naishi. Tunalipa price na kurudi naye itakuwa noma. Huko unajua nikienda ushago lazima nitaspend. Nitakosa hadi fare ya kurudi. Itabidi niuze mbuzi yangu. So niliona this time watu wanatumia heri natumie pesa. Mimi nibaki huku so tusherekee huku. But mama nilimtuma na watoto.
At Uhuru Park, few Kenyans chose the recreational center to celebrate and bond with their families. The families here enjoyed the beautiful sceneries of the park that is yet to be opened officially to the public. Beatrice Getonyang-Etich, Prime Edition.
6 people have died in reported road accidents over the last 24 hours. This comes even as traffic police and NTSA urge motorists to exercise caution while driving over this festive period. 4 deaths were reported in Budalangi, while a 5th one was reported in Kitui County. The 6th death occurred along Nakuru-Eldoret Highway in a hit-and-run incident. Abdiaziz Hashim filed this report.
This were the scenes in Bulemia area of Budalangi, Busia County, where a driver of a lorry is said to have lost control and hit 4 people who died on the spot.
Sasa wasichana wamepata ajali nimewaona. Mmoja mwenye alikuwa karibu na mimi sana naitwa Laya Eliza huyo. Nimemwona ameaga. Laya ameaga. Na nimesikia sistaki mkubwa pia amepelekwa hospitali kukubusia yako kwa hali mahututi. Nimesikia walipata ajali huko Bulemia. Hii walikuwa wanavuka barabara wakasimama kando wangoje pikipiki.
Tunashangaa sana vile gari imepata ajali hapa kwa sababu area hii gari imepata ajali ni black spot na hii gari ilikuwa inatoka upande inapanda mlima. Sasa kutoka sehemu ya mteremko kwenda juu. Sasa hii gari vile ilipata hiyo ajali, mimi nashangaa sana, lose control namna gani ikatoka left hand side kwenda right hand side.
The fatal incident occurred on Tuesday morning as the lorry was en route to Modere Port Victoria Road. Reports from the authorities indicate that the lorry ran over the victims, resulting in their untimely deaths. Police officers have initiated an investigation into the incident to ascertain the circumstances leading to the tragic event. Elsewhere, a 13-year-old girl died on the spot, while a woman aged 23 was injured last night after they were hit by a speeding car in Dandi Village, Kisasi, Kitui County. Masimbini Sub-Chief Mulukalu, while confirming the incident, said the injured was a sister to the deceased who was taken to Kitui Level 4 Hospital. Meanwhile, a man in his 40s was killed on Tuesday in a hit-and-run accident as he attempted to cross the busy Nakuru-Eldoret Highway. The accident occurred in Chepchiret area of Uasin-Gishu County. This comes days after the National Transport and Safety Authority (NTSA) reported that at least 4,139 people lost their lives due to road carnage this year alone. This is a decrease compared to the fatalities that were recorded last year. Data from the National Transport and Safety Authority indicates that 21,684 victims were involved in road accidents between January 1st and December 20th, 2022. Abdiaziz Hashim for Prime Edition.
Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi says that the government is making deliberate efforts to cushion Kenyans from the high cost of living. Speaking at the 44th Maragoli Cultural Festival in Vihiga County, Mudavadi said that corruption and misuse of public funds will not be tolerated within the government's framework. Here's that report.
The annual Maragoli Cultural Festival entered its 44th year. The event, held at the Mbali Municipal Grounds, Vihiga County, showcased different Maragoli culture, among them music and traditional dances. Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi was among the guests who graced the event. Mudavadi, who is the patron of the cultural festival, called on the diversification of the festival to accommodate the changing times within the society.
Kwa hivyo agenda yetu, na ndio kwa sababu mimi nasema tusipoteze watu kwa siasa, tuwahudumie, tuweke sera ambazo zitabadilisha haya maneno ili uzito utoke kwa mwananchi, ndio tuanze kuona nafuu.
He at the same time insisted that turning around fortunes for Kenyans is still the key priority agenda for President William Ruto's administration.
Mimi nataka nihimize viongozi wetu. Right now, let us focus tuhudumie wananchi, tuwafanyie kazi, kwa sababu election iko mbali. Tumemaliza tu mwaka moja na miezi 6 tangu uchaguzi.
Mudavadi further emphasized the need for politicians to uphold the rule of law, a factor he observed will enable the country to avoid plunging into anarchy.
Juhudi yetu ni kunyorosha, sio kulalamika yale tulipata, lakini yalikuwa maovu. Tunaelewana kabisa. Kwa hivyo juhudi yangu na wenzangu itakuwa kwamba sisi tunyoroshe yale ambayo yalikuwa yameenda kombo, turekebishe na tuanze kuimarisha na sera nzuri tukienda mbele.
He, however, urged politicians to avoid misusing public resources at their disposal, but instead use their resources to initiate development projects in their jurisdictions. For Prime Edition, I'm Alvin Kaunda.
The opposition leader Raila Odinga has faulted the Kenya Kwanza administration over the skyrocketing cost of living. He says that government should not link inflation to fluctuations of the Kenyan currency against the dollar. He reiterated his call for a round-table discussion on addressing the high cost of living.
The opposition chief was speaking at Wisoro constituency in Kakamega County during the finals of a local football tournament.
Tunataka gharama ya maisha irudi chini. Anasema hii gharama ya maisha ni sababu ya mambo ya kutoka ngambo, si bei imeenda huko juu nje imeenda juu sana, ni sababu yeye hawezi kufanya chochote.
It is here where he faulted the Kenya Kwanza government over the skyrocketing cost of living.
Inatakikana sasa bei ya mafuta irudi chini kwa shilingi 50 kwa lita. 50 kwa lita. Anasema tiangalie bei ya mafuta kule Uganda iko chini kuliko Kenya. Kule Tanzania iko chini kuliko Kenya. Hata Rwanda, hata kule DRC. Yeye anasema ni juu. Hapana, hiyo ni porojo mtupu.
He said that will craft a new tactic come next year in a bid to put the government in check.
Nataka watu wangu wa Kwizero hapa na Waluya kwa jumla 2027 muangalie mahali tutaweka kura yetu. Nasema baba mmezeeka. Baba sisi tuko na wewe Omondo. Na sisi tutarudi hapa mwaka ujao 2024 kuambia vile tutatembea.
Odinga was flanked by opposition leaders including former Kakamega Governor Wycliffe Oparanya, Kakamega Governor Fernandez Baraza and Vihiga County Senator Godfrey Osotsi. Parsai Frederick, Prime Edition.
Guinea Assistant Chief in Machakos County, Lea Ngutu, lives by the adage, a leader knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way. Lea is using her talent, singing, to interact with the locals at a sub-location to to inspire the youth and to solve crime, believe it or not. Leah's new style of leadership has led to the popularity of a local church choir where she is a member. Serafina Robi spent some time with her and now brings us her story.
The soft rays of the sun on Leah's skin only warm her up to sing her heart out. This is Leah Ngote. She wears many capes, one of them being the Assistant Chief Ngini sublocation in Machakos County. Walking into the new East Africa Church, it's easy to spot her. Her voice in harmony with the melodies that rent the air, capturing the hearts and souls of the young and old, the weary in spirit and the jolly at heart. Leah says singing has enabled her to interact more with the residents of her sublocation and get to know their troubles.
Nimepata information sana nikienda kanisa. Na nikiwa kanisani watu wako free na mimi. Sasa wanioni kama chief. Waniona huyu ni mtu wa kawaida, ni mshiriki wa kanisa. Nimekuwa tu mtu wa kawaida kwao. Kama hapa hata wananichezea, unaona. Sasa wakiona wacha tumwambie hapa kuna bangi iko mahali. Sasa najua tu kuna kama nikipata wakati wangu najipeleka hapo sasa, naenda kuangalia bangi kama ni ukweli. Kuna mama amedhulumiwa mahali, nitaenda hapo niangalie, nione kweli amedhulumiwa ukweli ama ni nini.
She further says this has enabled her to inspire the youth and encourage them to stop drugs and substance abuse.
Hata naitumia pia kwa kufight drugs. Kwa youth wetu wameacha kuvuta bangi na nimeona a very big change in my sub-location. Hata wasichana wengine nasikia tu wanasema tu tunataka kuwa kama chief wetu, wanafurahia. So I've been a role model to many.
The pastor and congregants agree that never in donkey years have they met such a leader.
Assistant chief ambaye tuko naye hapa, ambaye wakati watu wanaona anapokuja kanisani wanamwangalia, wanaona kweli neno la Mungu ni la maana, kwa maana na kama assistant chief anaweza acha kukaa nyumbani na kuja kanisani, si anafanya wale wengine wanafuruta wanakuja kanisani.
Wakati ambao na train choir uanga nafurahia sana njoo hii choir ni mix up, iko na youth, iko na wamama, pia iko na assistant chief. So nikisimama tu hivi vile na wafunza uanga naona kibawa ambao Mungu amenipatia njoo kufunza watu wote hivi. Hiyo inaoneshana Mungu amekuita.
This has earned their choir quite the reputation.
Wakati tunaenda nje kuimba like kwa functions za watu, tumekuwa tukiwahimiza na hizo nyimbo ambazo tunaimba.
Sasa hivi tulikuwa na mkutano wa assistant chief hapa ngine, na hii kanisa letu likaalikwa. Walikuwa wengi na waliimba vizuri mpaka hata mimi nikafurahia. Na watu wakafurahia, wakaanza kuuliza hiyo kwaya ni kwaya kutoka wapi.
Leah believes in the saying, if your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, you are a leader. Serafina Robi for Prime Edition.
A story on music therapy brings us to our first break on Prime Edition. Coming up, we dive deeper into the second part of this live broadcast. Stay with us.
Unangoja nini? Namna ya kucheza Lucky Game sasa imerahisishwa. Dial *570# na 31st of December magari haya mawili na mtangaza mshindi. Ni rahisi, *570#.
Kwenye ulimwengu wa sasa,
Taaluma za mikono zina umaarufu mwingi. Jiunge na Sensei Institute of Technology tukupe ujuzi na uzoefu wa kushughulikia ulimwengu. Tunafunza taaluma kama plant operator, plant mechanics, kuendesha gari na trailer, kuweka CCTV na alarm, kuweka solar, kuweka stima, motorcycle, motor vehicle mechanics na electronics, teknolojia ujenzi wa mijengo, ujenzi wa barabara na mabwawa, hospitality na taaluma nyinginezo. Kujiunga nasi, beba kitambulisho chako na utembelee tawi letu lolote. Sensei College. My skills, my future.
How are you, Kenyans? My name is John Jacob Curieth. I want to wish you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I bring you the 9 p.m. news on Wednesdays and Sundays. I also serve in the police quarters. I want to wish you the very best. Be careful on the roads. Make merry but careful. God bless.
I'm an intelligent, talented, sophisticated woman. If any man wants to be with me, then he's gonna have to come and get me.
You're not gonna be there with me? I don't want to be on the sea.
That's somebody I want you to meet. This is Jake.
Hi.
He's a total first. The most important memories all seem to start at home with the people you love.
Welcome back. Of course, Karen Kibet is coming a little later on with the day's sports. But first things first, a group of cyclists have launched an initiative to create awareness on arthritis. Arthritis is a condition that causes inflammation and damage of the joints. The group, dubbed Ambassadors of Arthritis Advocacy from Kakamega County, cycled from Nairobi all the way to Mombasa and back up to Kisumu to raise funds to set up an arthritis clinic in Kakamega County. Let's listen.
The team cycled for 6 days, all in a bid to alleviate suffering. And members of the arthritis advocacy team then retreated to where it all began.
Tunataka kujaribu kuelimisha jamii kwamba ugonjwa wa arthritis si uchawi. Ugonjwa wa arthritis ni ugonjwa kama ugonjwa zingine na inaweza tibika na tunaweza imudu.
A public health specialist, Elizabeth Karafa, explains the condition which is becoming prevalent in the region.
Arthritis in affect tuseme kama mguu, the joints, yeah? So if it affects, it will break down the cartilage, the fluid, so bone, they start rubbing on each other. Kwa hivyo it makes the person not be able to move, causes a lot of pain, and in like the elderly, it's the most common form of disability.
She says arthritis affects both the elderly and the young, men and women.
The juvenile arthritis. This one causes arthritis among children 15 years and below. And it can also affect the knees, the wrists, and it causes disability in children. Na another one which is very common sana sana kwa wanaume sasa inaitwa gout. Kwa hivyo gout is also a form of arthritis which is caused by a lot of uric acid which cannot be eliminated by the kidney. So naona watu wenye wanapenda kama nyama choma sana na chumvi, they can get that gout. And then tuko na ingine inaitwa rheumatoid. So rheumatoid sana sana it alters what we call the immune function. So the body inaanza kuattack itself.
The advocates say there are many misconceptions about arthritis and minimal public awareness.
Many people are getting disabled. Wengine have to go for spinal surgeries due to arthritis. So we want to do much about it ndio iende until we cascade it the whole of Kenya.
Raising funds to put up a medical facility for arthritis center.
A 2022 National Kenya Demographic Health Survey that sampled 32,156 women aged 15 to 49 and 14,453 men aged 15 to 54 revealed that 3% of women aged 15 to 49 have been informed by a healthcare worker that they have arthritis, compared to only 1% of men. Ways to reduce the risk of getting arthritis include light exercises that are not too much on the joint, like walking, riding, eating a healthy diet. Those who have it can get treatment. The group, which also seeks to establish an arthritis clinic in Lukuyani, Kakamega County, hopes that the efforts will not only dispel myths, but also prompt a collective response to support those affected by arthritis and advance medical facilities for comprehensive arthritis care across the country.
Now, police at the port of Mombasa are investigating an explosion inside an oil ship docked at the African Marine Terminal in Liwatoni. One person is nursing critical wounds at the Mombasa hospital following the loud bang that was felt close to 2 kilometers away. The ship, East Wind II, is reported to have offloaded fuel in Zanzibar before transiting through the port. The incident was swiftly contained by tugboats as well as fire engines from the Kenya Ports Authority. KPA as well as the Maritime Authority are yet to establish and give an official statement on Tuesday afternoon's incident. Arguably, the original settlers of Nairobi, the Nubian people living in Kibra, fear that they might lose what they believe to be their ancestral land as government moves in to implement the affordable housing program. Judith Akolo spoke to the Nubian Council of Elders on the history of the Nubian people and their current fears and filed the following report.
The Nubians, an ethnic group indigenous to northern Sudan and southern Egypt, are believed to be descendants of a civilization that dates back to ancient Egypt. The journey of the Nubians dates back to the 1800s when they first settled in Machakos together with the Europeans. According to Mzee Harun Muhammad, the settlers felt that Machakos was not habitable, and so they got on their way first, settling at Pangani and Muthaiga in Nairobi.
Wakatolewa hapa kwa peleko Keleleshwa. Keleleshwa pia ni pori. Tena wakafieka hapa yote. Baada ya kufieka, wakaambiwa sasa tena kutoka huko ndio wakaja hapa Kibira. Kibira wakaja hapa kwa wakati 1900.
At Kibra, they found a dense forest. A few Maasai herders who were grazing their cattle in the open space within the forest embraced the Nubians and allowed them to stay.
Na hapa walipata Masai. Hapa Masai ndio walikuwa naishi hapa. Kuna pahali ambao wanachunga ng'ombe zao. Hapa wakasikizana na wazee wetu kwa njia ile mzuri sana. Paka hawa Masai wakasema hawa watu ni watu wazuri, watakaa hapa.
Although this land was surveyed in 1917, it was gazetted in 1918.
It is here that the colonial masters established a military camp with a shooting range called Laini ya Shabaha, which has turned out to be called Kibra Laini Saba.
Wanakaa pahali yao ya kupiga shabaha. Ndio hapa naitwa Laini Shabaha. Sasa habari ya military iliisha kwa 1930. Hapa 33 habari ya military ikaisha. Hii Kibra ikawa chini ya administration.
The old men reminisce a time when they had vast area of the land handed to them in 1918, which measured over 4,000 acres. It included Sarangombe, present-day Jamhuri area, Lomley, present-day Ayany, Galalima, which is Olympic, Toi, now known as Fort Jesus, and Lindi near Nairobi Dam, Langata, which had the barracks, and Makina. In these areas, the Nubians grew crops, had grazing fields, as well as the residential areas made of huts.
Ili Kibira ilikuwa iko shamba. Iko shamba pahali ya wazetu kulima. Sio pori tena, ilikuwa na shamba.
We used to farm, we used to rear cattle, and Sarangombe, like it Sarangombe, the present day Jamhuri Estate. Sarangombe is a name coined from the Nubian language where you take animal to grazing, for grazing. All these Kibra was farms. Even people coming from town, city center, they would say, we are going to the Shamba. Shamba was Kibra.
The struggle for independence saw the Nubian community providing shelter to the Mau Mau fighters who would hide in the huts, and since Kibra was known to be inhabited by peace-loving Nubians as well as decommissioned officers from the Kenya African Rifles, KAR, the colonial administration would never search for them.
Ilikuwa iko chini ya jeshi Kibira.
That was an act which was punishable by death. But the Nubians still took that risk to make their mark in the struggle of independence for this country. But population-wise, we are very few. We don't have the capacity. Although in 1969 we had our first MP, who was a Nubian.
Now nestled in a small area of 288 acres from the initial 4,197.9 acres, the Nubian community, dwarfed by other communities in Kibra area, expresses fears that they are being disinherited and could soon be landless as the government moves in to possess the land to implement the affordable housing program.
And we want to have the potential to turn this land into wealth for the community. We don't think this is the right place for affordable housing.
This is corroborated by an urban development expert, Peter Orimba, who asserts that any development ought to be done with the people and not for the people.
The biggest challenge is like for those cases of Kibera, it is more like you plan for the people. You are not planning with the people. Because when you are providing those houses, it should be to the point where you are sure whoever you are going to give these services, are they able to utilize or enjoy those services.
He warns that the affordable housing program in Kibra could come a cropper the same way the attempt failed during Mwai Kibaki's regime.
Those people who moved in, who allocated those houses, they could not cope. They could not cope in those houses. It was like a culture shock for them.
For the Nubians, it has been a century of deceit from successive regimes.
Despite all the efforts that we have put in Kenya before and after independence, the role that we have played, we have been given zero. This is a betrayal.
Judith Akolo, KBC, Channel 1.
On the 21st of December 2022, President William Ruto launched the ambitious Jaza Miti program seeking to plant 15 billion trees by the year 2032. This is aimed at restoring and conserving 10.6 million hectares of degraded ecosystems and landscapes. In this edition of the Spotlight 2023, we take a look at where we are and key environment-related events that have happened in Kenya as part of the Greening Kenya initiative and the country's efforts in dealing with climate change.
To celebrate his 56th birthday, President William Ruto led the nation in a national tree growing and restoration campaign. On this day, the head of state set out to plant 56 trees even as he rallied Kenyans behind the campaign to engage in growing trees across the nation, which is among key interventions Kenya is taking to combat the effects of climate change.
We have all witnessed the viciousness with which climate change has unleashed various calamities on us. We are all affected by the effects of drought, flooding, unpredictable rainfall patterns, outbreak of diseases, and infestation of pests.
Wazee wa nyumba 10
pahali mzee wa nyumba 10 yako anapanda miti 5. Yule village elder miti 10. Assistant chief 20. Chief 30. Assistant commissioner 40. Deputy county commissioner 50. Alafu county commissioner 60. Kusonga hapo mbele, wajumbe, members of parliament 100. Mawaziri na makatibu 200. Naibu wa rais 500. Rais mwenyewe 1000 and above.
We will be calling all of us to join hands to make this a success.
The Ruto administration has an ambitious plan to plant 15 billion trees by the year 2032. The goal of the initiative, achieving 30% tree cover in Kenya by then. Ministries, state departments, public and private organizations have taken up the challenge and have been tasked with their own independent targets to ensure this exercise is a success. The tree seedlings for the Jaza Miti program were mainly provided by the Kenya Forest Service under the Ministry of Environment and Forestry. The service being at the front line to ensure the trees are not just planted but grown. The 4th to 8th September 2023 Africa Climate Summit was an event that signaled Kenya's commitment to the climate change agenda. During the event, over 20 heads of state converged in the country's capital, Nairobi, to address the increasing exposure to climate change and its associated cause both globally and particularly in Africa. The outcome of this summit was the Nairobi Declaration that serves as a basis for Africa's common position in the global climate change process.
We are aware of the unjust configuration of multilateral institutional frameworks that perpetually place African nations on the back foot through costly financing, which plunge our economies into debt trap and deny them resources needed to mitigate and adapt in response to climate change.
The National Tree Growing and Restoration Campaign will receive a shot in the arm following the 11th October pass-out parade of over 2,500 Kenya Forest Service Rangers from the Forest Law Enforcement Academy at the National Youth Service Paramilitary Academy in Gilgil, Nakuru County. The event saw these rangers being posted to several forest stations to accelerate the agenda.
The bottom-up economic transformation agenda commits us to implement the constitutional tree cover mandate together with the strategies to achieve mitigation, adaptation and resilience in response to the impacts of climate change as part of a broader program to fulfill our commitment to reduce emissions by 32% by 2030.
We have been working with various partners to increase and improve our forest surveillance to tame these problems. We have improved our forest fires response system, both through technology and mounting surveillance points across our forests.
Monday, in November 13th, 2023, and Kenya had its maiden National Tree Growing Day, which the government set aside and called on members of the public to plant trees as a mitigation of the climate change effects. The goal for this day was to plant at least 100 million seedlings with the national exercise happening at the Kiu wetland in Makueni County. This exercise was replicated across all 47 counties in the country. On the sidelines of this national day, the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation team wasn't left behind as a section of staff on the board went to the Marania transmission station in Meru County and planted 15,000 seedlings.
Planting of trees will help us get enough water, get enough rain, and provide food to animals, to livestock, and to human.
For a person like me, or maybe young people out there, we are calling on them to come out and plant more trees, not only for this day that is set as a National Tree Growing Day, but also anytime whenever you get a chance to plant a tree.
Kama sisi tutaweza kuwa mstari wa kwanza kupanda miti, tutakuwa tunaweza kuyalinda mazingira, na pia katika vizazi vijazo tutaweza kuhimiza pia, na utapata kana kwamba hatupati madhara mengi kama ukosefu wa mvua kama vile ilivyokuwa imezoewa.
I had to sit down with the Nairobi Region Forest Conservator Joyce Nduku, and she explains the shift from tree planting to tree growing has had a positive impact on the growing and restoration campaign.
But you need to weed, you need also to
to water them, make mechanism of watering in case the rains are not sufficient. You also need to protection against human interferences, protection against fires, protection against livestock, protection against diseases and pests, and protection against anything that can be detrimental to the seedling.
She, however, insists that there needs to be proper sensitization on which seedlings are best suited for particular ecological areas to ensure a 100% success rate in the agenda to have 15 billion tree seedlings planting target.
As that is arid and semi-arid lands, you need to make a bigger hole so that it acts as a catchment. You know, the rains are very scarce. So once it rains, maybe per week, some water will collect into that hole and can sustain that seedling for maybe a week or so. Some people can plant very, very, very short or very young seedling, like the size of your pen. That's too small. Okay. So you need like a tree that is around 3 feet high. So all those choices and all that is actually growing.
Community forest associations continue to play a pivotal role in ensuring forests are properly cared for, while at the same time complementing the work done by the Kenya Forest Service rangers countrywide.
We have some of them who have raised seedlings. We've trained them on how to raise seedlings. So we are directing those people to such communities so that they can buy from them. And then it's also a way of improving their income and uplifting them as a community.
Nairobi and Kajiado counties that fall under Nthuku's jurisdiction have a combined target of over 8 million seedlings. How well have the two counties performed?
For Kajiado, we were supposed to do 62 million, as I've said, but now we are at 12 million. But the plan is still ongoing. And for Nairobi, we were supposed to plant 894, and we've already planted around 390 something seedlings, 390 seedlings so far. That is the annual target for this financial year. So by June 30th, we are supposed to meet those targets.
But like any great project, there are challenges that Nthuku notes have affected the attainment of the 2032 target set by the government of Kenya.
Most of the people, they want to plant the trees. Most of them, they want to be given. The demand is too high, so it's not very easy to give for free for everybody who wants to plant. Grazing in gazetted forests is not allowed. That's a message that I want everybody to get. They will destroy the already planted seedlings, and even the ones that are existing. You know, when they debug, some of the livestock, they debug like goats, they debug the trees, but they debug, then they die. So during the dry season, you find fires break out and they destroy chunks of forest. So what we normally do as KFS, we are introducing monitoring technology that you can monitor all our forests so that we are able to know, to detect an eventuality of fires breaking out.
According to the Regional Forest Conservator, partnerships and collaborations with several state and non-state actors will go a long way in ensuring the target is achieved, but insists that proper sensitization ought to be done to ensure all citizens understand fully the importance of tree planting and growing, so that current and future generations are able to reap the benefits of the greening initiative being done under the stewardship of the head of state, the Ministry of Environment and Forestry and the Kenya Forest Service. To the rangers helping in protecting and conserving the country's natural resources, Nthuku has this to say.
I embrace every challenge that comes because I believe we grow through challenges. So if you don't face challenges, you are not able to think on how best you can solve that challenge.
And to Kenyans,
that target is for all of us. It's not for the Kenya Forest Service, it's for all of us. So during the season or off season, if you have water, I would encourage you to plant at least 30 trees. If you do 30 trees every year, you are contributing to the 30% by 2032.
Yusufar reporting for the Spotlight 2023.
What about mambo fantastic even not scholastic? Chota kuchota na Hatia Supermarket imerudi. Ukifanya tu shopping ya shilingi 1,000, wewe unaingia kwa promotion ya chota kuchota na Hatia Supermarket. Watu wanaendelea kushinda ndani ya Hatia Supermarket. Mwana tata kitoko. Wewe na umeshinda nini? Karibu ndani ya Hatia Supermarket uweze kuchota kwa wingi kabisa. Watu huko wanasema nini? Nakwambia kwamba chota kuchota. Unangoja nini?
Magari 7 za kushindaniwa, TV, fridge, microwave, shopping vouchers, school fees vouchers, instant prizes na zawadi zingine kemkem. Chota kuchota imethaminiwa na Hetia's, Oven Fresh Bakery, Gigabyte, Mount Kenya Milk, Clover's Food Products, Velvet, Magic Drink, Pwani Oil, Arenco, Fruit Juice, Masterchef, Toilex, Coolsip, Mika, Wash Ultra, Philos, Prestol, Nivea, My Choice, Ushindi, Fresh Fry, Arimis Jelly, Cabernet Water, Dettol, Ketepa, Meta, Glucose, Coca-Cola, Rosy Tissue, Big Giant, Elbins, Unilever, Fresh, Unga wa Dola, Blue Band na Pasta Star. Shindano la chota kuchota linaanza tarehe 1 Disemba hadi tarehe 10 Februari mwaka 2024.
Hatia Supermarket, a world of choice.
Pack your bags, Cliff. Need you on plane.
Opening the new Shanghai office?
Actually, supervising the building of our Rose Parade float.
But, sir,
you've hired a float design firm, best in the business. You're flying to California first thing in the morning. And just try to keep things simple and on.
Excuse me, sir!
Sorry, can I help you? This goes off the rails. Dad's whole business could go under. Look, no offense, but you don't know the first thing about float decorating. Are you afraid to get your hands dirty, or you think you're above it?
I'm supervising.
Oh, right.
It's a float. How difficult can it possibly be? Red button! Can't get any worse.
You want me to come back later, after the monsoon season?
That would be great.
Sure. What happened ahead of schedule and under budget?
Cliff stood up for you and took responsibility for the whole thing.
Maybe we have something in common after all.
Let's build a great float! This feels like a date. Why does this feel like a date? This is how we do snow in California.
In a world filled with uncertainty, there is one thing we can always count on: the power of compassion and generosity. Every day, families in Kenya face unimaginable challenges and hardships. They struggle to put food on the table, provide shelter for their loved ones, and access basic health care. But today, you have the power to make a difference. By just contributing 1 shilling and 50 cents from your airtime, your generosity can provide access to sanitary pads, nutritious food, clean water, education, and life-saving medical care to those who need it most. To support this cause, please tune in to your favorite radio station under the KBC umbrella for step-by-step instructions on how to subscribe. KBC Helping Hands. Together, we can make a difference and bring hope to those in need.
Unangoja nini? Namna ya kucheza Lucky Game sasa imerahisishwa. Dial *570# na 31st of December, magari haya mawili na mtangaza mshindi. Ni rahisi. *570#.
Get ready for the captivating return of the FKF Premier League, exclusively on KBC. Brace yourself for the thrill of football as 18 teams battle it out for glory. Every week, KBC brings you not one, but two heart-pounding matches, delivering the best football action right to your living room. The stakes are higher than ever. The league champion takes home a handsome prize of 5 million shillings and also earns the honor of representing Kenya in the prestigious CAF Champions League. Feel the adrenaline, experience the suspense, and join the roar of the crowd as we celebrate the return of Kenya's football legacy. The FKF Premier League, live and exclusive on KBC Channel 1 and KBC radio stations. Save the date, mark your calendars, and get ready for the ultimate football spectacle. Coming to you live only on KBC. KBC, your true sports partner.
Welcome back. Now, the year 2023 has been a beehive of activities at the corridors of justice, with landmark decisions being delivered, with the judiciary saying it has reduced the backlog of cases by nearly 20%. Our court reporters take us down memory lane of key cases that triggered public interest, among them the Finance Act, the LGBTQ ruling by the Supreme Court, and the dreaded Shakahola massacre.
Presidential sanction of the Finance Act 2023 elicited deep ambivalence from Kenyans grappling with the skyrocketing cost of living, leading to a legal battle presided over by a 3-judge bench. And these are how things have been from the corridors of justice. The judiciary reduces case log backlog by 18% from 336,119 to 272,678, with the president of the judiciary, Lady Justice Martha Koome, attributing the milestone on alternative justice systems.
This includes the introduction of e-filing in 6 additional counties beyond Nairobi, digitizing court records, and expanding virtual courts for better efficiency, but to ensure that justice is reachable and understandable to every citizen, regardless of their social or economic status.
Senior counsels called on the Chief Justice to ensure litigations of public interest are done in an open court.
You cannot have a hearing just between two witnesses, but justice for the entire community. And the entire community should be given the opportunity of access to what's going on in the courts. Currently, courts are empty, particularly in the afternoon. You find all of them are empty, nothing is going on. And as I've heard some friends of mine say, yes, should we ease the courtrooms to people to use the rooms? They're just arguing. We don't have anything, we don't have people sitting there. So I think it's wrong. Let us open the courts, let us have
After the president assented to the Finance Act 2023 into law on 26 June 2023, attempts were made to have some of the provisions outlawed. Lady Justice Thande recommended that Chief Justice Martha Koome constitutes a 3-judge bench to hear and determine the matter.
We're also cognizant of the fact that an order of unconstitutionality has far-reaching effects not only on individuals, the public, and operations of the state. As this was an informal application, the court could not interrogate the facts upon which the arguments by the parties were made. We are of the view that we do not have the last word on the matters at hand. The respondents are entitled to exercise the undoubted right of appeal to the Court of Appeal and thence to the Supreme Court.
Delivering the court's decision, Justice Majanja said they had looked into various sections of the Act and concurred with some.
We are convinced that when we go to the Court of Appeal, we will be able to establish a basis upon which the money is collected and how the money is going to be applied. But in the meantime also, Parliament will have to come onto its feet and consider whether we need to have another law onto which we will anchor the housing levy, and we'll also have regulations thereunder, which will be the administrative law as regards the money.
Upon the filing of submissions by both parties and compliance, that a hearing that may be given for purposes of determining that issue. Hope maybe before the 10th or before the 15th of January, when the High Court stay is supposed to automatically lapse.
All eyes was on the judiciary when it stayed the appointment of CASs.
The government has over time demonstrated that it will try and do everything to get what it wants done. Even if the courts rule that something is unconstitutional, they'll still try to get it done. You've seen it in the housing levy. They brought a new law to anchor the housing levy. They are attempting to bring in the CAS through the back door.
And these are part of a wide array of issues tackled in this honorable court. And here is my colleague Michael Mwandiga with more insights.
In the realm of law, if you violate the laws of God, you are a sinner. And if you violate the laws of men, you are a criminal. And if you violate your own laws, then you are pathetic. And this is a story of two men of the cloth who are linked to the Bizasha Kahola massacre. Pastor Ezekiel Odero was set free by the court, while Pastor Paul Mackenzie is cooling his heels in prison.
President William Ruto began his term by appointing 6 judges whose nominations had been rejected by his predecessor.
To further demonstrate my commitment to the independence of the judiciary, this afternoon I will appoint the 6 judges already nominated for appointment to the Court of Appeal.
President Ruto appointed judges Korir Weldon Kipyegon, Mushelule Agri Osula, Odinga George Vincent, Joel Mourangogi, Makori Evans Kiago, and Cheruiyot Omange. The year 2023 will go down in history as one of the darkest years as far as religious fundamentalism is concerned. It was the year of the Shakahola revelation. Paul Mackenzie had his day in court.
I hereby sentence the accused person to 12 months imprisonment, while in respect to count 3, the accused person's explanation of not knowing the need for a license from the Film Classification Board, having obtained a broadcasting one, is a reasonable, though not entirely acceptable, as ignorance of the law is no defense, hence the resulting conviction.
The court was finally called upon to interpret the law on the matter of same-sex associations. The Supreme Court ruled that everyone has the right to associate, a decision that was met with sharp criticism.
Mambo kama haya ikubaliki hapa na rais wetu lazima pia ongelee hili jambo.
Kila mtu asimame kivyake, watoto wako uwaonyeshe njia ambayo inatakikana, na pia wewe usimame in the right way.
Attempts by Homa Bay Town MP Peter Kaluma to have the decision quashed hit a snag after the court stayed its earlier orders on 12 September 2023.
But then the Supreme Court goes ahead and says that the association of these criminals still has to be registered. What are you talking about? What a contradiction.
The Spotlight 2023 in the Kenyan courts. From my colleagues, senior photojournalist Johnston Aronya, my co-reporter Ruth Wamboi, and I, Michael Mondiga, wish you a Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year.
Rains will continue over the southern half of the country, with most parts of the northern, eastern and northwestern parts likely to remain dry between the 26th of December, that's today, and the 1st of January of next year. According to the weatherman, isolated heavy rainfall may occur over some parts of the highlands, east and west of the Rift Valley, the southeastern lowlands and the South Rift Valley. Here is a detailed regional forecast covering the next 1 week.
According to the weatherman, the highlands west of the Rift Valley, the Lake Victoria Basin and Rift Valley, including Kisii, Nyamira, Nandi, Kericho, Bomet, Kakamega, Vihiga and Bungoma will experience rains in the morning with afternoon showers and thunderstorms expected over a few places, occasionally spreading to several places. In northwestern Kenya, days are likely to be sunny and nights partly cloudy. However, morning rains as well as afternoon and night showers are expected of a few places during the second half of the forecast period. The highlands east of the Rift Valley, including Nairobi County, Nyandarua and Laikipia, among others, are expected to have occasional cloudiness, accompanied by light rains in the morning, with the afternoons characterized by showers over a few places, gradually increasing to several places during the second half of the forecast period. Night showers are likely to occur over a few places. Northeastern Kenya is likely to have sunny days and nights partly cloudy. The southeastern lowlands such as Machakos, Kitui, Makueni and Kajiado are expected to have morning rains over a few places, while afternoon showers are likely to occur over a few places, occasionally spreading to several places. Night showers are also expected over a few places. In the coastal counties of Mombasa, Tana River, Kilifi, Lamu and Kwale, mornings and afternoon showers are expected over a few places. Yusuf Far reporting for Prime Edition.
Happy holidays. Thank you for keeping it KBC Prime Edition. My name is Karen Kibet. Let's now take a look at what's making headlines in the world of sports. A goal in each half was enough for Homa Bay Combined to see off Migori Combined in an entertaining match at the Raila Odinga Stadium in Homa Bay County on day one of the inaugural Eliud Owalo Super Cup tournament. Migori Combined fought gallantly and pulled one back in the last minute of the second half, but it was a little too late to push the game into extra added time. Homa Bay will now await the winner in Wednesday's clash between Kisumu Combined and Siaya Combined at Jomo Kenyatta International Stadium in Kisumu to know their opponents in the final at the same stadium on 28th of this month. Achola Simon with the details.
Migori Combined started the game on the front foot, pinning Homa Bay Combined in their own half for the better part of the first half. The entertaining game having a capacity crowd that included the Information, Communication and Digital Economy Cabinet Secretary Eliud Owalo on the edge of their seats. But Migori Combined would come to rue the lost chances as Homa Bay Combined went ahead against the run of play late in the first half. After the break, the tide had changed for good as Homa Bay Combined ran rings around a youthful Migori Combined. Midway through the second half, Homa Bay notched the second goal through a well-worked team play that ended with a well-lofted ball over the advancing Migori keeper. After several changes, Migori pulled one back, but it was a little too late as they couldn't force the game into extra time.
I think you've seen the quality of play. And I think it's just like any other Premier League match. And I appreciate both players from both teams. Migori losing in the later stages, but the brand of football they played, I think we really have to appreciate them.
Homa Bay Combined will now wait for the winner of the Wednesday game between Siaya Combined and Kisumu Combined at the Jomo Kenyatta Stadium in Kisumu County.
And we are very happy that it has started on a very high note. We are looking forward even to better engagement tomorrow as Kisumu engage Siaya and thereafter.
The foundation has given a good direction, especially on talent scouting. I saw a lot of note-taking, and I believe that our players are going to get opportunity in better teams even in future. I want to encourage Waziri and the whole foundation that let us focus on this and further in future look at also the women's side so that we can make it more inclusive.
Migori will battle it out with the loser in the Kisumu-Siaya game for the third spot at the same venue. The best players in the three-day event will form the Nyanza Combined team to battle it out with Gor Mahia at Nyilima grounds in Asembo, the Raila Sub-County, Siaya County on Saturday.
As these matches are going on, we have got a technical committee here, led by Tobias Ochola, James Goro Ronge, and Gerald Omolo, among others, who are identifying the best two players in each position. This will give us a Nyanza Combined team that will play against Gor Mahia on the 30th of December at Nyilima Stadium in Asembo, Rarieda Sub-County.
Achola Simon, Prime Edition, Siaya County.
Thank Thank you, Simon, for that report. The Africa Hockey Federation has taken action against Kisumu Lakers Women Hockey Club due to misconduct during the 25th edition of the Africa Cup of Clubs Championships that was held in Blantyre, Malawi between the 18th and 26th of November 2023. The team fielded ineligible players in the tournament and interrupted the final match between Ghana Revenue Authority and Blazers.
Prior to the final match, the tournament director had communicated to the team that following investigations, they had fielded non-registered players, thus led to their disqualifications, and they were not to play in the finals as earlier planned. Following the African Hockey Federation Executive Board meeting in Malawi in November this year, there after the tournament to discuss the conduct of Kisumu Lakers Women Club, the club will be required to pay a fine of $340,000 before end of March 2024. In addition, Lakers team manager John Paul Otieno, head coach Anthony Onyango, assistant coach Elizabeth Awor, and assistant team manager Robert Okech have received a total ban from all forms of hockey, either local or international, for 5 years. The officials also face a financial sanction of 170,000 shillings each to be paid before March next year. A total ban from all forms of hockey, both local and international, for 1 year has been imposed for Lakers players who were in the team sheet during the tournament, regardless on whether the players is registered in Lakers or any other club. The team is free to lodge an appeal to the African Hockey Federation through the Kenyan Hockey Union Executive Board. For Prime Edition Sports, I'm Daniel Mwendwa.
Thank you, Daniel Mendo, for that report. Moving on, Ngata FC are the winners of the 2023 Samburu Kamau Mosop Ward Boxing Day football tournament held at Ngata Primary School in Rongai constituency, Nakuru County. Ngata FC trounced Juhudi United 4-3 in penalties after a 1-1 draw to lift the cup. The tournament aimed to nurture talents and help youth reduce societal vices. Kicked off on the 9th of December, had a total of 36 teams, 30 men's teams and 6 women's teams. The winners pocketed a cash reward of 500,000 Kenyan shillings.
We have been very intentional about growing our talanta, making sure that the youths in their strengths, be it football like we have seen here, or volleyball that we have seen played next door over there, or any other sport. It's a great way to grow their talent because you can see that some of them are very good in the field.
Serikali kuu kupitia waziri ya Babu na Mwamba, hii pesa ya talent, pesa inaitwa Talanta Ela. Sasa waje hapa Ngata, wangekuwa hapa kupeana hiyo pesa. Kwa hivyo tunatoa mwito kwamba pesa isikishie ati Nairobi Nyayo Stadium. Tunataka pesa iletwe mpaka Mosop Stadium.
Kuna matumbuizo ya hali shwari. Ngome anakuja vizuri, anapiga shuti la kuvizi.
Two-time national champion Mehul Gohil and 2021 champion Sasha Mongeli were among the top performers on day one of this year's National Chess Championship at Charter Hall, Nairobi. More than 300 players are taking part in the championship.
2022 national champion Mehul Gohil triumphed against Simon Kamau, while Sasha Mongeli defeated Brenda Changwaya. Veteran Ben Magana humbled Harry Biriu as Kenneth Omol triumphed Kel Kuka.
It is a bit tough, but I'm tougher, and I came here for experience, and I'm very sure I'll get it. Chess Kenya walitupea opportunity for PWD. So nituka participate na tena nimekuja kupigania my title. I've been the runners up for PWD for some years.
Mehul Gohil is the biggest focus of attention in this year's tournament, having recently won Muranga Open and Bungoma Open Championship, which he was using as preparations for this year's national tournament. The 5-day event will see Kenya national champions in both men and women's categories crowned, as well as players living with disabilities and junior players. At stake is a brand new Nissan for the Open winner. Cash prizes totaling 453,000 shillings will also be an offer for the other categories.
They have really prepared themselves. Yeah, and we're expecting tough tournament because we have around 9 rounds.
We realized that we have so many PWDs who know how to play chess, and they didn't have a platform to just come in to play chess. Maybe some of them were still like, they thought that it was just a physical thing, but for us as Chess Kenya, we thought that we could bring them in, and also as per the constitution, we are supposed to involve them in everything that we do. They are part.
The event will also be used to select a national team for the various international events next year. Kingo Rimwangi for Prime Edition Sports.
And Kingori's report brings us to the end of the sports news tonight. My name is Karen Kibet. I now hand you over to my colleague Tom Mboya, who is anchoring his last bulletin of the 2023 calendar year. Tom?
Hi, Marakwet. Marakwet. For a moment there, I thought Marakwet was firing me. But what she means is it's my last bulletin of the year 2023. And on that note, I want to wish you a happy 2024 in advance on behalf of our dedicated team in the back end. We'll be back again in the new year. My name is Tom Mboya, bidding you farewell from the capital city of Nairobi, Kenya. Good night and God bless you.